using your jaw every time.
Okay.
Ouais.
Avij Singh Ramdhani est en répétition. 27 ans, étudiant en Allemagne, à l'Hochschule für Musik d'Etmold. Il se qualifie comme voice athlete. Cet amoureux d'histoire vit un rêve. Il croise un jour Véronique Zuel-Bengarou et sa voix est alors toute tracée. Il fera de sa voix une carrière. Nous le rencontrons à Saint-Paul. Il répète la flûte enchantée de Mozart, quelques jours avant de se produire au Coda Art Center. Il fait partie de l'ensemble d'artistes rassemblés par Opéra Mauritius, Island Voices Corps Mauritius et Catherine Kane Voice Academy. La flûte enchantée, le dernier opéra de Mozart, écrit en 1791. Avij Singh Ramdhani joue Sarastro. Son parcours, ses rêves, une partition très agréable à écouter. Avij Singh Ramdhani.
Yes, hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, pleasure to meet you.
Thank
too.
you. We just heard this rehearsal.
Yes.
And we were amazed by what we heard and your voice. But your story starts near the Daruti forest.
Yes, that's where it begins. Yes. So my journey started, I actually started singing at a very young age, at the age of 5. But I was singing mostly pop music and mostly Indian classical music. Yes. So that was my start into music, and my father, my parents encouraged me into music, and it was at the age of 19, after I finished my HSE, that I met Madame Véronique Zuel, and that was I embarked on a new journey. Voilà.
And the transition from Indian classical music to the kind we just heard, was it done gradually?
No, there's a lot of work. There's much. It's very. We have some similarities and differences. They are both very strict disciplines. The difference with the Western classic and the Eastern classic is that we have more projection with the Western classic, while the Eastern classic we usually sing with a microphone, and so therefore the training there is very different. But I've never received classical training for Eastern, so I was singing Bollywood songs, and then when I met Ms. Véronique, then when I started that journey, I realized there's much more to singing than just like shower singing or some. Yes.
So for years it was shower singing or imitating famous singers from Bollywood, etc. But then this meeting with Véronique Zuel Bengarou changed your life.
That's it. True. That was it was at Opera Mauritius in Quatre-Bornes. That's where I was going for my lessons. So I was traveling at least 2.5 hours from the north every Tuesdays to go for my lessons. Yes, we started, and I had a lot of bad habits, bad singing habits, and she started to train me in the right way. Yes, and that was when I discovered a new world, which is the Western classical music. Yes.
And then you applied for a course in Germany.
Yes.
I mean, from Daruti, from the forest of Daruti to the Black Forest of Germany.
Yes.
Was it a change or not?
It was not really. Well, the difference is that the cold. Germany is very cold. So, and the forest there is an actual forest. It's not like the forest that we have in Mauritius. You can not really get lost in the forest here, but there is very big. And yes, 6 to 7 years of working with Véronique Zuel, then I decided, let me try to go forward now. and go to Germany. And then I applied, I auditioned, and I was accepted.
I guess you were very happy, and your parents too.
Yes, they were surprised, and so was I, because I never thought that I would go forward with music. Never thought, but after so many years working with her, then I was like, why not give it a try?
Is it still?
Yes! Sing a That's it. And now you enter just the tip of your tongue. Yeah. Ah la la na na na. Yeah. So the N has no. It's ah na 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 na. Huh? That's it. And now we do the just. Where? Je sais.
What were your dreams when you were a kid? Because you told me that you taught yourself, in a sense.
Yes.
And you didn't go to school, and you had to
Yes.
HSC by yourself. You decided that you would pass your exams in a combination that was not proposed by normally. You'd find
Yes.
this at school.
Yes.
So why these subjects? Maybe you could
Yes.
introduce us to the subjects that you chose.
Yes. So first, history. I was very fond of politics, and I had a liking to history in general, and literature also had, and I also studied literature in Form 5, and I was quite fascinated with that. And when I discovered history, where you could study actual politics, the First World War, Second World War, the Holocaust, French Revolution, and all of that, I was like, wow, I would love to study about that. I chose that. And then there was psychology, the study of the human mind, the human brain, behavior, everyday patterns, why do children, animals, human beings behave like that. And psychology also helped me understand history. Why the political leaders, Stalin, Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, why did they behave, or Napoleon, why did they behave like this? And psychology really helped me understand that. And to relax, it was mathematics to practice, and I really enjoyed that. So those were the combination, and yes, it was fun. Yes, I enjoyed it. I studied privately, so by myself, I did not have teachers online, or yes, we don't have these subjects. Well, mathematics we do, but history, psychology, we don't have teachers to help us, so I did it by myself. Yeah.
How are these subjects very helpful today where you are?
How are they helpful?
Yeah.
They help us understand everyday life. They help us understand the Ukrainian-Russian war, for example, or a political decision that is happening, and we understand concepts like terminologies like communism, socialism, and democracy, and liberalism. We understand terms like this, and we can sort of position and associate ourselves, what type of country we are visiting and what type of community, how we should behave in that type of law, So that helps us in that way. And learning history helps in music as well, because music is history in some way. We are studying history there. Mozart, Bellini, Beethoven, it's history. And now at university, I am studying history too, and this is helping me there. So I would say yes, in many ways, it really helps us think critically and diplomatically, I would say, and come to a decision in a very diplomatic way, I would say.
That's it. That's it. Feel the difference? You want to take the jaw, but we don't need the jaw. It's You are not filming that, no? Aren't you? Now you can do it.
Germany, the country you're living in today is a very disciplined country, and music is a very, very disciplined subject also.
True.
So you chose the right combination.
I would say so, yes. Actually, there isn't a right and a wrong combination, you know.
Right.
There isn't. All the subjects from Hinduism or Islamic studies, I would know, or agriculture, or biology, chemistry, has its degree of highs and lows. It's the student, the discipline, the determination within the student, and how much he invests into these subjects. That is the most important. Yes, it is that. Although some will disagree with me and say that there is a hierarchy from the highest to the lowest, most difficult. So yes, but yes, history is known as one of the toughest subjects for CIE, Board of CIE Cambridge A level. So yes, so yeah.
You said earlier while we were chatting that you were a vocal athlete.
Yes.
This is your tool. Your body is your tool, and you
Yes.
have to protect this
Yes.
asset of yours.
Yes.
How far are you growing in that?
I still have a lot, much more to grow. So the technique that I am studying, the classical singing, we call it bel canto, and that's a technique that we use to sing. The technique is called bel canto, means beautiful singing in Italian. And to have a good mastery to master this technique, it takes you minimum 12 years to learn that, to be really good at it. So yes, I still have much more to go to learning this technique. Why I would say we are like vocal athletes, because just like what an athlete in whichever sport takes years of training, of strict discipline and diet to be able to reach their goal, vocal opera singers, it's just the same. We are using the full body to its maximum capacity to be able to project, articulate, phonate, and have a very loud yet beautiful sound to produce something what was composed hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Yes.
And that we still appreciate to listen to.
That's it. Yes.
You will be on stage for a concert in a couple of weeks. That's why we're here
Yes.
tonight, because you're rehearsing.
Yes.
And you will be leaving just afterwards. So we are very happy to catch you while you're still rehearsing. Are you ambitioning to become an opera singer? Are you ambitioning to travel the world on all stages and perform?
I was always intimidated by that idea of whether I could do it or not. And when it started in Mauritius, when I became laureate for Mozart competition, it was then, and I did a recital in Mauritius, it was then that I thought maybe I could go abroad and make it big and perform. And when I went to Germany, in Mauritius it was a little bit difficult, but when I went abroad, the opportunity that were presented to me, then I felt, okay, this is possible. And now I would like to spread my wings and really travel and do the roles internationally.
When you were singing in the shower, like you said, like we all do, we're great singers in the shower. You wouldn't imagine that someday you would be studying where you are in Germany, for instance, and performing on stages. But then this happened. There are many, many, many kids that are dreaming of singing or expressing themselves, and they won't maybe have the same opportunity. What would you, now that you have started this journey, what would you say to them to encourage them so that they could maybe someday be in Italy or in France or somewhere else and do what you're doing?
Yes. My mom always said, and I'm going to quote from her, whatever you do, whether that's gardening, music, drum, percussion, dancing, whatever you do it 100%. Do it like your life depends on it. And when you truly are, if you like what you're doing and if you give it 100%, people are going to notice your passion, your determination, your drive into that particular field. And before you know it, you're just climbing up. People will be calling you and people will notice. And Mauritius is small. People will notice very easily. So that can only happen if you are really determined and you're ambitious in what you do. So these are the things. Be ambitious. Do what. First know that what you're doing, whether you truly love it, you really like it, and then push your maximum into it. And luck will be there. Luck will be there.
I think Mauritius is very lucky to have so many talents.
True.
In the voice field.
Yes. Definitely.
Our singers are traveling everywhere now, and it's quite rewarding in a sense.
Yes.
To know that our music and our voices, our faces, our country is people are seduced by that.
Yes.
I mean, did you ever give a thought about this?
We are very talented. I would say Mauritian people are very talented. First is because of the languages that we are able to speak. We are multilingual. We are able to speak English, French, Creole, Hindi, some Bhojpuri, and the list goes on, some Chinese. So with that, we already are able to phonate and think and act in different languages. So when it comes to music, it's almost the same thing. We have that change in there. So we Mauritians, we are not speaking one languages like in America, majority, or in other, not just America, but any other languages, majority are speaking one language, and then when there's that transition into different languages, that becomes problem. So for us Mauritians, I would say we are quite privileged in that sense.
Vous qui avez reçu la lumière dans le temple de la sagesse, Tamino, fils de roi, nous demande l'entrée du sanctuaire où brille la lumière sublime. Un voile et encore sur ses yeux. Vous savez que les dieux destinent Pamina, la douce et vertueuse princesse, au prince, et que c'est la raison pour laquelle j'ai arraché la jeune fille à sa mère. Que l'on conduise Tamino ainsi que son compagnon de voyage vers les parvis du temple. Et toi, mon frère, enseigne aux deux profanes, la puissance de nos dieux.
You entered the fantastic world of music through classical Indian, through Bollywood. Now you're in Western classical music. Do you think that someday you might perform in India or somewhere else, Mauritius,
Yes.
mixing those two classical words? Is it possible?
I have sung in 16 different languages, so I hope one day I could be that bridge between, uniting the Western classical and the Eastern classical. There's a very strong discipline in both of them, and being able to merge both of them and do something beautiful with that. Yes, it's I aspire to do something like that. I'm quite envious. It's of course, it's a little bit of a challenge, but I don't think nothing's impossible. Where there's a way, there's a way. Yes.
Well, Avish will we're looking for that day then.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
That's the way we work with singers, and that's our training.